Let's get into some shite. Hello, folks. Welcome to the Out of Tune Podcast. I'm your Out of Tune Podcast host, Rick. I'm the same guy who's been doing it all these years. There's no one else. There's been no substitute. We've had a couple of guests. I wish I could get more guests. No one wants to be on the show. It's a mystery to me why. But me, I'm always here. You can rely on me. And, hey, I've pretty much been able to rely on you, right? You've been to every one of them. You've hung out. Even when we've taken long vacations, you've caught up. You've taken the time to catch up on the podcast, right? I know you. Thanks for hanging out with me live from Atlanta. I'm live. You're not. You're live when you're listening to this. Let's just say the podcast itself is not live. I'm live. You're live. This thing that I'm creating right now is not live. Guess what I just did? I spilled my beverage. I'm not even going to edit that out. I've got a desk full of beverage here. These are the kind of things that happen on a podcast that's not live. It's just the way it goes. So you just never know what's going to happen. This week, I had a lot of fun. I ticked off something from my list of things that I really need to get done. Doesn't that make you feel great? It does. It's like when you have been needing to do something for a long, long time, and you've been putting it off for a long time, for whatever reason, either laziness, just not enough time, whatever the reason, and you put it off, and then finally you do it. It's like the greatest thing in the world, isn't it? I don't know. I just feel like it feels like a major accomplishment, even if it's not a major accomplishment. So I've had this thing that I've been needing to do around the house for since about Christmas, really, and maybe longer. And this week I finally did it. And it has to do with, I guess I want to say, organizing and cleaning my house. It's really more detailed than that, but I'm not going to go into it. But some stuff that I've just needed to do. Part of it is just like going into my attic and getting rid of stuff, throwing stuff away, making room in my attic to get rid of stuff. And that's why I put it off. Who wants to do that? That's not fun, is it? But I know it needs to be done. And so I finally did. I took time out and I did it. And it took me all day. And it was tiring and it was hot and it was stuff I didn't want to do. But I did it. And I got it done. And I feel better about myself and about life in general. How about you? Are you feeling good about life in general? Is your life going well? There's always a time when you think life is going well and then something happens and it's not, and it's screwed up and it just seems like life sucks. And but the thing is, it just swings back around right after that to where it's fine again. And that's what life is. It's just like a pendulum swing back and forth. Sometimes things are more suckier than others, but then other times you clean out your attic and you feel really good about yourself. And that's what happened to me. I discovered something about myself this week, and I don't know what to think about it. I can't cut glass. It seems like one of those things that should be kind of easy to do, right? Have you ever had to cut glass? It makes more sense just to take it to the glass cutting place. And I've had to do that in my business before when I needed glass. I just take it to the glass cutting thing. I don't really worry about it. But I had to have some glass cut, and it seems easy. You just get, those little stupid looking glass cutters that you have around the house that you never, ever, ever, ever use. I used to have several of them, and I don't anymore. So I thought, well, dang it, I'm going to have to go buy one of those stupid glass cutters. When am I going to need to cut glass again? But it's just, you just keep it around the house for like the 2 times in your whole life that you need to cut glass. So I needed to cut glass on it. I didn't have the little glass cutter. Ran to the hardware store, grabbed one. I don't remember. What are they? $2, $3, $4? Nothing. Little metal thing. Looks like a key. But anyway, I get it and I bring it home and I'm ready to cut glass. Got everything I need, right? I even watched some videos on YouTube on how to cut glass. These people know that. Here's what they do. They take that little key thing and they put it on one corner of the glass, one edge, and then they just pull it across. Really looks like they're marking on it with a pen, and it just like goes right straight across, smooth, perfect line. And then they just like barely touch the glass. Tink! It breaks right along the seam. Perfect. Well, that's easy. I could do that, right? So I get my little key thing, and I start on one side, and it won't mark. It won't do. It won't. I have to press really, really hard. And when I press hard, the glass freaking breaks. Well, that wasn't on the video. So now I've broke the glass and I have to start again. I got another piece of glass. Here's the thing about this is I had like 5, 6, 7 pieces of glass that I needed to do. So surely I could get one of them, right? Surely I can. Watch the video again. Make sure I was doing it right. Need a straight edge. Put the straight edge down. Put the little thing. Finally, I could hear it kind of start scratching. Oh, I'm doing it right. And I pull it along, and then it starts going out of line. It's not even following the straight line. And then, kink, the glass breaks. 5 or 6 times I did it. And every single time the glass broke the wrong way. I followed the directions. What is wrong? Why can I not cut glass? So I got a piece of plexiglass. I thought, well, I'll do that. I screwed that up. 2 pieces of plexiglass, like 5, 6 pieces of glass. I can't do it. I can't cut glass. So glass cutters are just going to have to make their money off of me. Because I can't do it myself. Why is it so hard? Why? Are there people? Can you cut glass? Have you cut glass before? Are there people who could do this really easy? I did all the steps. I did what I'm supposed to do, and it didn't work. It's like some kind of mystery that I haven't been allowed to be included on in the solution. So I'm kind of disappointed in it, honestly. So I was thinking about music this week. This has been a kind of a musical week for me, and I was thinking about music, how we respond to music when we're younger, because I don't listen and like music the same way that I listened and liked music when I was in my 20s. And there's something about being in your 20s when you're listening to music that you really relate to, and you have these bands that you're passionate about, and they speak to you on levels that nothing else speaks to you. It's kind of a thing, I think, where it connects with your ego. It's just like you become that band is a part of you. And when you listen to people who are in their 20s talk about music, that's how they talk about it. It's like, this band, no one talks to me. No one speaks to me like this band. This band is like a part of my soul. You never say that when you're in your 60s and 70s. You listen to some of the same music. You listen to your favorite music, but it just doesn't ring the same way as it did when you were in your 20s. When you find a new band when you're in your 20s, it's like finding a treasure. So I've just noticed as I get older, I don't know. I think music becomes more of a background thing. It's more peripheral. It isn't like a part of your being anymore, and you don't listen to it like that. And I think the last band that I found that I just related to and I loved, I listened to them like crazy, just over and over and over and over. I just listened to all of their stuff, and I guess in some ways it was like when I was younger, but it still wasn't the exact same way. I love music and I like to listen to music, but I realize that there's something missing. There's a link somewhere in there that happens when you're in your 20s that doesn't happen as you get older. And that's something I didn't expect about getting older. It's something people don't tell you. I'm telling you now. When you get older, music becomes a different thing. It's not the same way as it is in your 20s. And I suspect that a lot of the bands that you listen to in your 20s that you become very passionate about, you keep all the way up until, I don't know, 60s, 70s, 80s, right? But still, I think at that point, the music becomes more nostalgia. You listen to the music and it reminds you of when you were young. It reminds you the feelings that you had when you were younger. And it becomes more of a nostalgic thing to you. It's not as much of a, it's still inspiring, I suppose. You still get inspired by it, but it's just in a different way, right? Do you know what I'm talking about? If you're older, you kind of relate to that, I suppose. I try to still find new music. I try to expose myself to new music and as much as possible. I've discovered that Target has a good, I don't know what they're playing in their stores, but Target plays good music now. And I find that a lot of times when I'm walking through Target, I will, I'll hear a band and I'll think, this is I would listen to this band. Who is it? And then I'm Shazamming all the time when I'm walking through Target. It's like one after another. I'll Shazam them. I'm like, oh, wow, I've never even heard of this band. Or I've heard them and I've never listened to them before. A lot of great music coming out of Ireland, I've discovered. I discovered that I can't remember the name of the band. See, that's why you forget things. Bono's son, his band, I'll have to think about it. Starts with an I. Anyway, and they're fantastic, great band. But I would never listen to them if it wasn't for Target. I heard them on Target, and I came home. I started playing the music, and I mean, dang, they're good. I like them better than U2, and I'm a U2 fan. But still, it's just, and that's the thing. When I listened to music back in my 20s, I didn't just listen to the music. I absorbed everything about the band. I could tell you who produced the albums. I knew who played every song and who were the background singers and what they used. I knew everything about the band. Got into all of it. I just don't have time for that anymore. It's just not something that I don't get obsessed about it anymore. But it's just still, I'm kind of fascinated by how the difference is in listening to our favorite musics back then and now. And there's something about how it sticks with us. I even like, when you're listening to commercial jingles, I think about that every Christmas. When I'm every Christmas, I remember these Christmas jingles that happened when I was a kid. They're still in my head. Songs from Saturday morning cartoons. If you're a young person, you may not know what that means. If you're like a Gen X or a boomer, you know what that means. You watched cartoons every Saturday. It was a thing that you did. And all the advertisements were targeted to you. And it worked because I still remember those jingles. I can remember at Christmas time, I can remember the jingle of Sprite. I can remember the Fig Newton song. I can remember everything. Here's one I don't know why. I woke up singing this song in my head. I don't know what happened when I was dreaming, but this song was going on in my head.
Here come the wild ones. Here come the screaming demons, tearing up the Daredevil Challenge. Screaming demons, up the ramp, round and round. You control the speed. Through the wall of fire.
Yeah.
Challenge reset. Speed control, ramps, timer, and a screaming demon.
That's the thing about the Screaming Demons tearing up the road. The great thing about the Screaming Demons song was the guy. Now, see, that guy could sing. He probably was in a rock band. And he had the rock band, almost metal voice. That was before the metal era. But I bet he went on to do metal. But then that part of the Screaming Demons song where he goes, "Screaming Demons!" You had to sing that when you were a kid. You had to say that, and that one little thing kind of made me want to get Screaming Demons. Plus, it had the word demon in it, and it rhymed. Screaming is cool when you're a kid, and demons kind of cool. So, Screaming Demons got to be cool, right? I don't know why I thought of that the other day. Screaming Demons. I think I had some Screaming Demons when I was a kid, but it's just one of those things. It's just like that all of that stuff sticks in your head. It won't come out. Music at that age hits you like it doesn't as you get older, and I don't think it ever will anymore. And maybe is there something chemical, maybe something chemical or physical at the young age that makes music, it just like goes straight into your soul. It becomes a part of you, and you never do forget it. I don't know. Screaming Demon! I broke some eggs yesterday. Here's the thing. As I'm getting older, I'm getting clumsier. I feel like I've always kind of been clumsy, and you hear about that when you get older. The older people fall a lot. I haven't fallen yet, but I'm going to. I'm heading that direction. I drop things, I knock things over, I break things. And I find myself almost falling. And it's just a matter of time before I just go ahead and fall. I don't know what causes it, but there's a combination of things, I'm pretty sure. But we were coming home from the grocery store the other day, and I had a grocery bag in my hand. I was trying to carry too many things. That was the thing. And I one of the bags I just kind of lost grip on, and it fell out and hit the pavement. And of course, it had to be the egg bag. The egg bag hit the floor, and I knew it. I knew I was in trouble. I had just I just read like 2 hours before that eggs break easier if they break from like top to bottom rather than on the side. If an egg won't break on the side as easy as top. I don't know what the physics of that is, but of course they fell straight down. And I brought them in. I told my wife, I was like, I think I just broke all of the eggs, and it was a pack of 18 eggs, and we went through and counted them out. 12 casualties were broken. I broke 12 eggs at one time. You know what the price of eggs are now, right? And I broke them all. So my wife says, well, there's no use crying over broken eggs. We're going to just make an egg dish tonight. So she did. She made, I don't remember what it was, but it's like kind of like a quiche kind of thing, frittata or something. I don't remember what it was, but put 6 eggs in there. And that's what we had for dinner because I broke them. Here's what I think is interesting about eggs. You would never wake up in the morning and eat 12 eggs. Most people wouldn't, unless you're training. If you're Sylvester Stallone training to beat Apollo Creed, you might bust open 12 eggs in a glass, drink them all. But most people are not going to do that. But have you noticed, like, if it's Easter, when you were a kid and it was Easter and you had boiled, you would eat freaking a dozen and a half eggs at one sitting? You wouldn't put 12 eggs into the frying pan for breakfast. But if somebody brings over deviled eggs for Thanksgiving, you would eat 24 of those. You just cram them in your mouth like they're peanuts and eat all of the eggs. So we had 12 eggs and we ate it for dinner. And I find that I probably ate more eggs than I should have, just because they were there. They were there in the dish. I had to eat a dozen eggs. Speaking of music, music that's kind of important to me. When I, early, let's say late 90s, early 2000s, I believe that's when this was. Well, it was like mid, more accurately, I guess it was mid. No, I guess it was all through the 90s. Early to mid 90s even, all the way up through 2000. I was really into the band Bare Naked Ladies. Remember Bare Naked Ladies? If I Had $1 Million, loved Bare Naked Ladies. Saw them live quite a few times, and they're not quite the same. One of the lead singers left, making great music solo. The other guy's still doing their job, their thing. It's just it's a different band now. But I love the Bare Naked Ladies. And recently I was like, I need to listen to a couple of Bare Naked Ladies songs. And this morning I woke up with the Bare Naked Ladies song, Hello City, playing in my head. And I love that song. And it's one of the songs that made me love Bare Naked Ladies because it's so unusual for a rock band to play a song like that. Very atmospheric, I would say. Very different, unique, kind of odd, but awesome. And I was singing that song, and I was just like, I want to see if I could find a version of that on YouTube, like a live version. I'm going to post it on my Facebook. So I got on kind of like scanned through YouTube looking for it, and there's no good live version. There's some live versions, but they're not good live versions of Hello City. But what I did find was there's a Bare Naked Ladies tribute band called Hello City. Now, I didn't even know there was a Bare Naked Ladies tribute band, but it makes sense. There are tribute bands everywhere. And so I listened to a little bit of their stuff. So they kind of try to look like Bare Naked Ladies. I think the lead singer's kind of a portly gentleman with glasses, sort of like Bare Naked Ladies had back in the old days. Drummer's a bald guy, and so they kind of look like him a little tiny bit. Sound wise, it's close. I feel like they sound more like they're trying to do an impersonation of the band. It doesn't sound relaxed. It doesn't sound like, obviously it's not the real band. It's just a little forced. So I don't know. It was novel. And it was interesting to see, but I don't know that I would listen to them or go see them. You might. I'm not trying to tell you not to. But I started thinking there's like a tribute band for everybody now, right? Just like any band that you like, any version, any artist that you like, you're going to find a tribute band for them. So even if the band, like let's say Nirvana, you're never going to be able to see Nirvana live. You could see a form of Nirvana live, but you can't see them. Kurt's gone. Can't see Queen, but you could go see a tribute band with Prince. You could see Queen live, kind of. Someone pretending to be them, sounding sort of like them. You remember K-Tel Records? Speaking of old time, like Saturday morning, you would see that. You would hear these songs and you would be like, oh, I love that song. Oh, I listen to that song. But if you listen to it really carefully, or if you buy the album and start playing, then you're like, wait a minute, that's not the real guys. So they would actually like hire musicians to do the music, kind of like them, make it sound like, but it's not the real artist. They don't have to pay the artist fees. I'd like pretend. It's like a tribute band, right? It's sort of what it was like. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. I was thinking, Mike Del Giudice, who is the guitar player for Billy Joel, he plays guitar for Billy Joel, and then he's in a Billy Joel tribute band where he plays the music of Billy Joel, sings Billy Joel. He's doing both sides. He's got the tribute and he's got the real thing. All the old guys from the Billy Joel band, they're out performing the Lords of 52nd Street. They're out doing all of Billy Joel's songs. I think they probably helped write them. Kind of a tribute band, but kind of not. That's an interesting take on it. But here's what I'm thinking. What if you want to do, I started thinking about the legality of it. I mean, I don't know. There's got to be some problems. There's got to be a lot of legal issues that come up if you want to be in a tribute band. So I of course decided to do some research, look it up. Here's what I found. So if you want to do a tribute band, here's what I found out legally about tribute band. All right, there is trademark law with the band name and logo. So you can't, if you're Queen, let's say, if you're tributing Queen, you can't use Queen's logo, and you might not even be able to use their style. You know, if they have a specific font like Kiss, you probably can't do your tribute band in that same font. The main thing is you can't make people think that you're the original people. So you can't use their original name of the band alone, like you couldn't do Queen, but you can do, obviously, a tribute to Queen or a Queen tribute. A lot of the tribute bands just do, like they might do Another One Bites the Dust. That's the name of the band. Or Killer Queen, probably. I think some of them just avoid putting the word at all. But usually it's named after a song, right? I think I saw a Van Halen tribute band called Jump or Panama or something like that. I don't know. So you got to be careful with that. Don't use the band's name, and you can't use their logo or anything that looks like the logo, right? Avoid that. As far as copyright law, you can perform their cover songs live because most clubs have a licensing or a licensing arrangement with the rights organizations ASCAP, BMI, and CSAC, and they pay the fees for bands to come in and play the song. So you could do that. If you play a private event, you're probably going to have to do the license yourself. But as far as the music is concerned, I think, now it's different if you're going to do recording. But if you're just playing them live, I think you can perform all of the songs live if you want. You can imitate the musical style and do a similar look like the dude who was trying to look like Steve Page from Bare Naked Ladies, but you cannot impersonate individual band members. So like if you're Van Halen, you could kind of look like David Lee Roth, but you can't pretend like you're David Lee Roth. If you're trying to do Freddie Mercury, you could have a mustache. You just can't do just a straight out Freddie Mercury impersonation. And your promotional material can't insinuate that you're the actual artist, of course. But then again, why would you want to? As far as merchandise, you can't sell the merchandise of the band. You can't sell their merchandise, and you can't put the band's name, logo, lyrics, album art, anything on there without their permission. You can't. I'm assuming you can't do things that kind of look like it. You can sell your own stuff all you want. It's yours. You can do what you want to. I think you can put your own name and stuff on it. You have to clearly state you're a tribute band when you're doing this. So if you got your band idea out there, make sure that you actually say you're a tribute band. That's very important. And then last, you just have to get ready for a cease and desist because some bands don't like it. Most bands are cool with it. They're actually flattered by it. They don't mind it at all. I guess in the long run, it helps them out. It helps their public relations, should say. So they don't mind it. But some places, some artists don't like it. Bands like the Eagles and Kiss have been known to take legal actions. Kiss, I totally understand it because a lot of people try to perform in the makeup of Kiss, and that's trademarked. You can't do that. So they can't, unless they're just doing Kiss without any kind of makeup. If they're just doing the guys after the makeup, that should be okay. But I don't even think Kiss allows that. And there's other bands that just sue you and say, stop it. You can't do that. So that's the thing. That's all. If you're trying to do a tribute band, those are the rules. Those are the regulations. It's easier than I thought. I thought there would be more legal red tape than that. And there's really not. So you could do it. Anybody could do it. Just put it together. Have you seen a tribute band? Would you do it? I did see a Beatles tribute band way back in the 80s. They were pretty good. I'm not a huge Beatles fan, but they were pretty good. They did like a 60s version of the Beatles, and then I think they did the 70s version of the Beatles. So it was kind of like, suit and tie and then long hair, Sgt. Pepper kind of thing. A lot of Beatles tribute bands. But yeah, they come by here through Atlanta all the time. I saw Fleetwood Mac, and I see it all the time, but I can't imagine just paying to go see a band, someone else. I never wanted to buy a K-Tel record, so I don't really want to see that. All right, that's all I'm going to do. Screaming Demons! Yeah! Screaming Demons. They had to do a tribute of the Screaming Demons. Screaming Demon tribute band.